Welcome, everybody, to It Tastes Different Gaming News. What's in the news today? Square-Enix president Yosuke Matsuda is stepping down. Sad. Not really. Yosuke Matsuda, president and representative director of Square-Enix, is stepping down after 10 years in that position. His official announcement states that he'll be replaced by a relatively new Takahashi Kiryu. I hope I didn't butcher that. If I did, I apologize. A company director who joined Square-Enix in 2020 as part of a organizational restructuring, means people got fired, brought some new blood in. The proposed change will be voted for approval at the 43rd annual shareholders meeting in June. Square-Enix's reasoning for the change, and this is adorable, under the rapid change of business environment surrounding the entertainment industry, the proposed change is intended to reshape the management team with the goal of adopting ever-evolving technology, innovations, and maximizing on the creativity of the company's group in order to deliver even greater entertainment to its customers around the world. That is business speak for bull crap. So, as we all know, Square Enix has had, let's say, issues over the last several years with severe decisions or just ignorance. Let's just call it what it is. The only thing that they've really done good is Final Fantasy Online and Guardians of the Galaxy, in my opinion. That's about all they put out that's been worth a crap here lately. So I think it's a good thing as long as Square Enix steps away from a lot of the really ignorant decisions they've been leaning into. And we'll just have to see. So let's jump to Nick because he's the master of ignorant decisions. Nick.
Yes. They almost made me president, but good. Hopefully this will turn Square Enix around, right? Yes, Square Enix has been making bad decisions. Lots of bad decisions. That little excerpt from the corporation that you read out, Shane, that was basically saying you done screwed up. Now you need, because I mean, what besides some good things came out, like I think the remakes of Final Fantasy have been good, and then Guardians Galaxy was good, and then Final Fantasy 14's done really well for them. But the whole NFT blockchain thing that they've been still going after, what I was thinking of, the NFT stuff, and then something else that for some reason it was there, and now I've completely forgotten it.
The blockchain stuff?
Yeah, the blockchain,
games.
But there was something else too. I can't remember what it is that I was thinking of. But anywho, basically Square Enix has been doing the Ubisoft treatment to their gamers and everything in their corporation. And basically it's like we've talked about it before. We've talked about Square Enix, we talked about Ubisoft. And it was basically like, how do you destroy a company? Oh, the other thing I was going to mention, I remember it now, getting rid of Crystal Dynamics and a lot of their popular franchises. That was also another stupid move because they were going to use that money for the blockchain NFT thing. But apparently Square Enix, I don't know if it comes from the president or where it's coming from, but whoever makes the choices that we're going to go down the blockchain and NFT route clearly didn't read the news that blockchain and NFT for games is dead. Right? Ubisoft tried it. They were the brave souls that tried to trudge through the sludge. And ever since, Ghost Recon Breakpoint and that whole NFT and blockchain thing that they had going on, have you heard Ubisoft talk about it ever since? I haven't. I haven't seen one article of them talking about ever putting that in anything else. And that's because it failed. And for Square Enix, it's going to fail too if they were to continue on. And they were continuing on. They sold a ton of their franchises, popular franchises, for this whole blockchain NFT thing that for some reason they thought was going to make them a ton of money. But it had been proven, especially in the gaming sphere of things, that that's just not the case. Gamers don't want that. They're not interested in it, right? Like, we say like some gamers are interested in VR and some aren't, but there's a market for that. NFTs, there's no market for that in the gaming sphere, right? I mean, there might be like a small pocket here and there, but that's not the majority, and the majority don't want any of that. So to continue down that route and to get rid of a lot of your popular franchises such as Tomb Raider and Deus Ex and everything and all the other ones that they got rid of over to Embracer, that was just a stupid move by Square Enix to do. That was the first, one of the first stupid moves they did, as well as continuing to invest in NFT and blockchain. Hopefully with this president going out, if he was driving the main focus of NFTs and blockchain and all that stuff, that hopefully the new president will come in and right the ship. They can't get back the games that they lost, that they sold off, but they can do right by continuing to move forward with what they do best and making some great RPGs with new games and their old established franchises such as Final Fantasy, right? That would be the best thing for them. Get back into the gamers' good graces, because right now gamers are kind of in the middle with Square Enix, right? They don't know what to think because they don't know what the hell the company's doing, and it feels like the company doesn't know what the hell it's doing. So, and much like Ubisoft is in the same boat, right? Gamers are upset with what Ubisoft's doing, and Ubisoft doesn't seem to know what it's doing. And Square Enix has the same problem. So they both, it's good to see that Square Enix is hopefully taking the right step. We'll have to see it, right? Once the new president comes in, we'll have to see what changes and different direction that this person takes the company, because right now it's going down the drain. So hopefully they can right that ship, but we'll have to see. What do you think, Pat?
Yeah, I mean, I can't believe it took them this long to see that maybe their current leadership is telling them to do something that's dying or dead. I can't believe they're still chasing after NFTs and blockchains as well. It just makes no sense to me when Ubisoft and all these other companies have proven that it's just not viable in games. Gamers don't want it, and they're pushing back against it, and then them selling off Eidos and Crystal Dynamics to Embracer just kind of cemented that they're not right. Something's wrong with them. Something's wrong with Square Enix and their president. Either he's got some like ties into Embracer or something, because I don't understand that. That was a dumb move in my opinion, because now you lost the rights to a bunch of popular games. I wouldn't necessarily call them like cream of the crop games, but they were money making games, right? That they lost with that acquisition. I don't get it. But now they're ousting him and bringing in a new president, as long as he gets the votes and everything's approved and all that, which likely if they made an announcement, it's going to happen from the board. So what more is there to say besides that? Hopefully they righted this ship before they went down the Ubisoft path, It's I don't even remember what was it was Ubisoft Quartz. That's what I was trying to think of their program. That's pretty much, I think it's still alive. It's probably on life support. The machine's plugged in, but there's no battery backup, and the cleaning lady keeps unplugging it to plug in the vacuum cleaner. But eventually Quartz will just die, because they seem to have not done anything with Quartz. So and I think their way of claiming that was they're just saying this was a beta, it was a test. So people that bought into Quartz were just trying it out, even though you spent real money to get into Quartz, which, to me is just a slap in the face to their player base right there. And they kind of, but let's hope that they're riding the Square Enix ship before it goes too awry. We have some pretty good games coming, that's going to be coming out from them. Babylon's Fall was really bad. The Avengers game was not the best. It didn't turn out to be the live service game that they were hoping it to be. I liked it. These guys didn't much care for it, and I couldn't drag them into it to save my life. So, but that's just that. But I agree with Nick. The remakes that they did for Final Fantasy VII and all that stuff were pretty good. Were pretty decent games. I liked them. And we have what do we got? We had just had what was it? They published a bunch of stuff. I'm just trying to think. We have like Final Fantasy 16 to look forward to that's coming out later this year. There's the Rebirth that's coming out sometime eventually, the Final Fantasy VII piece. And then, there's just some other stuff that we have to look forward to. Obviously, some more Kingdom Hearts. I'm kind of burned on that series myself. And then you have some Dragon Quest that's coming out. Those are always kind of fun. But I mean, that's really all I could think of right now that's on the horizon for Square Enix right now. Because they got rid of their normal mainstays like, Hitman and all that stuff when they got rid of their other studios. So, I can't remember. Did they lose? What was it? Did they lose? What am I thinking of? Lara Croft. Did they lose wasn't Tomb Raider part?
Yeah, that's
part of Crystal Dynamics.
Yeah, they lost. That to me
Dynamics
was a wildly popular franchise, and I can't believe they just easily gave it up when they sold that stuff to Embracer Group. I mean, I really am surprised the Tomb Raider franchise got carried over with that. But we'll see what Embracer Group does if they let the studios that they purchased from Square Enix do their own thing, or if they got to stick their hands in it. Most of the time, when you see like investment groups, because that's what Embracer is. Embracer is an investment group, purchase things. They kind of pump a little capital into them and let them grow, and then they'll sell them off again in 3 to 5 years. They just want to get in, make some inject some capital into the company, let them grow, and then step right out. I've seen plenty of those investment groups, and they hope that the franchise grows. But I think that anything you do with Crystal Dynamic and Eidos is going to grow if you give them a cash infusion and let them do their thing, because they've already proven that they can do they can make good games. And I've heard all kinds of talk about then the people want to do a new Tomb Raider show and stuff because Last of Us is taking off. So that's probably lost revenue for these guys and everything. I don't know. I think it's about time they ousted him if his leadership, because I mean, he's really a big proponent of blockchain and NFTs. I mean, it's always his ringing and calling for NFTs and blockchains, which you forgot to take your Alzheimer's meds or something, dude, because that ship has sailed 5 years ago. But Shane, what do you think, man? What do you think about this news that they're outing him?
Matsuda can pack his crap and take his blockchains with him. I'm more than happy with this. So this is definitely should be a step in the right direction. Don't know nothing about the new guy. New kid on the block may just foobar it even more. He may double down. I don't know. But hopefully he can look at the picture that the last guy developed and goes, I'm not going to do that. So hopefully that's the case. But yeah, you're absolutely right, Pat. They have been making the dumbest of decisions. Tomb Raider was a cash cow. I mean, all 3 of the last games have made bank. Plus they lost Thief. They lost Deus Ex. I mean, those games were always solid. Now the last Thief was weak, but the Deus Ex games have always been
loved
great.
Mankind Divided. That was probably one of my favorite of that series.
Yep. So, they and what bothers me is I hate investors. I think investors have destroyed the gaming industry. I really do. I think they've destroyed a lot of industries. It's because it's too much profit, not enough, quality. So, and that's a personal opinion, but you would think the investors would be like, what the hell are you doing? Matsuda, what the f- is wrong with you? You can't be selling like your cash cows for unproven things that aren't working right now. I mean, you would think somebody would have slapped him on the wrist and said, stop it.
You think the shareholders at the time that he did that would have been pissed, are you sure you want to sell those off?
Yeah, I mean, that part may be right. But I mean, I'll be honest with you, how many people honestly understand blockchain NFTs enough to say, yes, it's a good idea or it's a bad idea? I mean, if you're a savvy investor, you're probably reading the news and you're reading all the backlash about NFTs and blockchains and games. So you're probably likely to be smart enough to know that they're not going to take off, right? Even if you're trying to force them down gamers' throat. This isn't $70 game they're trying to force down your throat. They're trying to force the next version of microtransactions in games, the next thing that they think is going to be big. And I think gamers have just spoken that they're not a part of it. And if you put it in our game, then we're not participating in your game. And I think that's heard loud and clear in the investment arena. So, but I don't know. But I would think most investors, Yeah, I think most investors probably don't understand it. I mean, for the most part, some of it's still mysterious for even a lot of us, right? I mean, I understand NFT and blockchain to an extent, but gamifying a blockchain seems kind of odd to me. But I would need to see the principle I would need to get a little bit more visualization into the principle. I can read an article all day long, but sometimes until I put my hands in it, it doesn't fully click. So for me, but NFTs, I understand the concepts, I understand all that. It's just the blockchains within games kind of is a little bit of a bewildering subject, but I got a gist of it. But I think a lot of investors are probably not quite up to par on what this is, and they don't understand that it's a good or a bad thing for gaming. They're just like, okay, the leader is saying Square Enix, who has been there 10 years because he was doing a good job. But now Square Enix is just I would say probably 3+ years. It's just been making bonehead move after bonehead move. Maybe they're just now realizing they're tanking, Square Enix is, I'd have to look, I don't even know what the last 5 years Square Enix stock has been doing. Has it been up? Is it down? I imagine during COVID time, everything was up for video gaming, right? Video games have been like making bank for the last couple of years because of it. So yeah, looks like they reached in the last 5 years, they had a high back in February of 2021. So $32. Is this right? Is this Square Enix? Yeah. So yeah, the share. It might be. Are they Squaresoft in the stock exchange or Square Enix?
I would assume they're Square Enix now in the stock exchange.
Yeah. So Square Enix Holdings reached $32 a share back in 2021, and they're now sitting at around $22. So they lost $10 a share in the course of 2 years, a little over 2 years. So, the heyday during COVID, and now they just kind of made some boneheaded moves. I mean, they've gotten as low as $20 in the last year. So people are not, the investors obviously aren't thrilled with him because he's lost quite a bit of their stock cap in the last year to 3 years. So,
well, I am not the techiest guy in this group by any means, but I can smell bullshit. And blockchain and NFTs is a BS con. It's a scam. You pay good money for fake things. I can buy a digital image. Why? I can screenshot it. Hey, look what I bought. Screenshot. It's mine now.
It's the Beanie Baby craze of the internet.
Absolutely. That's the best way to phrase it. It's a load of crap. And to me, this guy decided, you know what? Let's get in on the scam. He decided late and stupidly, but he wanted to get on the scam train, and people bought it up. I'm not going to fault people for doing it. I mean, if that's what they want to pretend they own something digitally, go for it. I mean, when I buy a digital game, I don't think I own it, because one day Microsoft, Sony, whatever, they're going to go away, and so is my game. So,
but it's like a software license lease when you buy a digital game, right?
Exactly. And it's a load of crap. I'm hopeful for the future of Square Enix. I love what they've done over the last 30 years. I mean, Square Enix is what got me into RPGs. I mean, plain and simple. I was never really big into them. I played some on the Nintendo and things like that. Final Fantasy VII came out and it hooked me. And then 8, the greatest Final Fantasy of all time, came out. And, that's it. I love Final Fantasy. I love RPGs. And when I met Nick, he diversified me into some other RPGs, and I love that stuff. So this company has to go back to what made them good. I say this about every game company that's falling apart, like Square Enix and Ubisoft, is you got to go back to what made you popular, what made you frickin' rich, and that's make a damn good game. So they've stopped doing that. They want shortcuts. They want quick bucks. You know,
I think it's fear more than anything. It's fear of spending tens of millions of dollars in something bad.
You know,
that's why they don't stray outside of their genre anymore.
You know what? Just give 5 guys, giggity, a $1 million. Tell them to develop a concept with a demo, have people play it, see what happens. If they like it, great, continue off. If not, well, shit, we didn't waste $10 billion or $100 million or whatever these games are costing anymore. Because I know they're up in, the hundreds of millions anymore, some places, some developers. So, but Square Enix has got to get rid of the ignorance and go back to making games. Final Fantasy Online has been their biggest cash cow in the last 10, 15 years, I bet. They went from 12 and then 14. I can't remember how it went because I've only played a little bit of the online stuff. But, they're huge. They're popular. I mean, you two wouldn't shut up about it for a long time. And that's what they need. They need to go back to that. Final Fantasy remakes, great, but also make other things too. Guardians of the Galaxy, phenomenal. They did such a great job. It didn't go well because people are afraid of what they did to Marvel Avengers. They were afraid that was going to carry over to Guardians of the Galaxy, and that probably hurt them a bit. But the game was amazing. They took a bit of a risk, and they did great. So do more of that. Yes, you're probably right, Pat. They are afraid of dropping bank and then losing it, not making that profit back. But you got to do it sometimes. That's the only way you develop new IPs. That's the only way you're going to continue is you have to take some risk once in a while, make your Final Fantasy VII remakes. And then at the same time, come up with some concepts, new game, figure something new out. If they really want to bring back their popularity, Final Fantasy VIII remake right there. That's all you need.
I mean, I don't think you can make a decent video game for $1 million these days. I mean,
I bet you could.
I bet you couldn't. And a AAA game. I'm talking AAA game.
Now, I'm not saying $1 million for the game itself. If I did come out that way, I meant you give a team of 5 $1 million to develop a concept of a game, put something together and put it out there for a demo or something to get reactions and all that instead of just full forcing it. Do like 10% of the game. The concept.
You can't do that though in this day and age because what you end up with is putting out a concept that is never going to be a reality to people, to gamers, because gamers are some of the most asshole-ish people out there because they expect.
True.
So I show a game and I'm like, this is a concept, guys. We're looking to build something like this. And I put this out there for the masses. And let's just say I put out and I get 100,000 people to play it and I get feedback and 10,000 of the most vocal people want this game to be this way, but 90,000 of them want the game to go the other direction. But they're the silent majority. So we go that direction and we push the game closer to development. And as we release it, these 10,000 vocal assholes are just railroading about how we lied to them and everything, because that's why you can never do anything on a massive scale like that. Because unfortunately, video game industry, not even the industry, the community is kind of toxic. There's too many people out there that are entitled assholes, that the vocal minority people out there that are just going to railroad you because they thought their opinion mattered more than the majority of the people who were looking to buy this game.
Yeah. And, just the fact that, everybody seems to think they're right about everything. We give our opinions. We don't think we're right. We give our opinions. That's when we do a game review. It is our opinion. But there are too many people out there that you are correct, but I still think they can do it. They just got to be smarter than I am to do it properly, which wouldn't take much to be smarter than I am to do it properly. So
I don't think $1 million could even touch it, to be honest with you. I mean, development time alone, develop something that's completely playable as a concept.
Is Unreal still free And then if you make profit off of it, that's when they charge you. Because there used to be a program they had. I don't know.
I think that's
maybe
only
I'm
for indie
mistaking
developers.
it. Yeah.
I think that's only for indie. You know, I believe they take like a royalty when you start making money, but I think if you're like a, you know, I don't know. I think I remember they used to say something like we'll take 5% royalties or something. And
Yeah.
I don't know if that's still the case with like the Unreal Engine 5 or whatever, but you know, so you can develop in there for free, but $1 million, you have $1 million to buy equipment, build something, time, and pay salaries. That's not going to happen for 5 people.
It is if they're passionate. I mean, think about it.
Passionate doesn't put food on the table.
Guy,
So.
The guy who made
Phasmophobia is who you're thinking of?
You sound like that McDonald's manager.
Yeah. Which one?
Hopefully not the one that gave me 1 bun on my burger today.
But were they passionate?
Yeah.
Well, they were passionate, Shane. You just were uncooperative.
They were just there. They were minimum wage passionate.
But that's what I'm talking about. You have to pay these people because if you're developing a game, what's to keep you from going to a studio as a developer and making? Because I will guarantee you, a good chunk of video game developers out there worth their salt are in 6-figure incomes easily, probably.
I don't know I don't know about the income part of it. I
Video
can tell you
game
this, there are developers out there. There are game designers out there by themselves with a friend that make some really amazing stuff. Phasmophobia was a great example, Nick. But also
Phasmophobia is not a single person anymore.
No,
he
not
couldn't
anymore.
keep up with it. His passion project
his passion got him on the market. That market got him to be able to bring in more people to help go with it. So he got it there on his own.
He got the initial
passionate.
But how many people bitch about that game because, well, this should be this way and that should be that way? A lot of people bitch about that.
Absolutely, because people suck. I work with people and I know what you mean.
I think that it's hard. And I think Phasmophobia is the norm. And what I mean by that is it's the minority, because not everybody that develops a game by themselves or with friends gets there. I mean, hell,
true.
We even got the opposite end of the spectrum with Robert Space Industries games, the biggest con artist scamming out there with millions of dollars for Star Citizen thing.
Yeah, he should be set on
millions and millions of dollars, and he can't bring a game to the front end he can't bring a game out to save his life. You know, so
but see, right there proves to you how dumb people are for constantly giving this guy money. I mean,
he's got something out. You can play something.
Yeah.
But I will also say in one other thing is that we are outside of the days of a game being fully released anymore. Because that's how Star Citizen is. They're still in early access for the next 50 years. Because they've been in the early access for at least 10 years, I think, right now, maybe 15 for all I can remember. And you know, and nothing against Phasmophobia, but he's been in early access for too long, in my opinion, too.
Yeah, I mean, that part I could agree with. But I also understand he's passionate. But he is putting it out. He was doing it all by himself, and he did a great job. But, you know, that's what got him to where he's at now. You know, now he's probably making, you know, a decent profit off of something was, you know, that, you know, he tried to do something that was new and different, and he did it. There was the developer, granted, it's not a great game, but it looks really good. That one that was being touted by Xbox when it was first announcing the Series X. God, I can't think of it. One where you're a ninja samurai, first person shooting tax advisor. I don't know. It was a weird ass game. But there was that game, you know, it was a one guy developer, his talent and passion pushed it out there, got noticed by Microsoft. I don't think it's easy to do, but I think you can do it, especially if you're a bigger developer. But that is just an opinion, not a fact. Don't hate me for it. Or do, I don't give a crap. But you guys got anything else before me and Pat start fighting about passion? All right. Let us know what you think. Do you think people suck? Do you think gamers are probably the biggest detriment to new game development, new IPs, new passions? What do you think about that? Do you think Matsuda packing his crap in his blockchain and getting out is the best thing that could happen to Square Enix right now? Pretty sure we all do. Let us know your opinion there. And most all hit that subscription button, the notifications, give us your feedbacks, and then until next time, see ya.